Finally, Christine Brown destroys Kody in court. Janelle breaks down as judge denies her a fair trial. Hello friends, I am Elena. Welcome to my channel. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Finally, Christine Brown has reached the moment that many fans of the Sister Wives saga have long anticipated. She has destroyed Kody Brown in court. This outcome did not come overnight, nor was it born from sudden emotion. It was the result of months of tension, years of history, and a series of legal disputes that finally found their way into a courtroom where everything was laid bare. The trial itself was highly charged from the very beginning. Every motion, every word, and every reaction carried the weight of a decade of broken promises, shattered trust, and relentless arguments. Christine walked into the courtroom with quiet but unshakable confidence. She was prepared, organized, and supported by a legal team that clearly understood the depth of her grievances. For her, this was not simply about winning a case. It was about reclaiming her dignity, setting boundaries, and sending a message that she was no longer going to be dismissed, ignored, or manipulated. Every statement she made was sharp, factual, and backed by evidence that painted a vivid picture of years of imbalance in the relationship. Kody, on the other hand, appeared visibly tense. His earlier bravado had evaporated as the proceedings wore on. First, he attempted to control the narrative, painting himself as the misunderstood husband who had simply been trying to manage a complicated family dynamic. But as Christine's legal team methodically countered each of his claims with documentation, testimony, and receipts, his story began to unravel. Court began to see a pattern of control, selective favoritism, and financial decisions that had long favored certain individuals over others, and those revelations hit hard. The turning point came when Christine's lawyers introduced a series of financial records that directly contradicted Kody's earlier statements. These records showed not only mismanagement but a blatant prioritization of resources in a way that disadvantaged Christine and, by extension, her children. When the judge pressed Kody for an explanation, his answers grew more evasive, his tone more defensive. Christine's calm demeanor in contrast to his rising frustration made an even stronger impression on the court. But amid this intense courtroom battle, Janelle Brown was also fighting her own war, one she ultimately felt she lost before it even began. Janelle had entered this legal arena with her own grievances, hoping that the court would finally recognize her struggles and the unfair treatment she had endured over the years. She had prepared her testimony, gathered her evidence, and believed that her case would stand on its own merit. However, as the trial unfolded, it became clear that her voice was not being given the weight she had hoped for. Janelle watched as Christine's case gained momentum, as the judge listened intently to each piece of evidence and each witness. But when it was her turn, the energy in the room shifted. She was met with more interruptions, more skepticism, and less patience. Her frustration grew as she felt her concerns were being minimized. Despite having valid points and a personal history that mirrored much of Christine's in terms of emotional neglect and financial disparity, her case didn't seem to resonate with the same impact. By the time the judge announced his rulings, the difference in outcomes was stark. Christine had not only won her case, but the judgment strongly favored her, granting her the financial settlement she had sought and affirming her right to specific assets and protections moving forward. It was a legal and symbolic victory that marked the official end of Kody's hold over her. Christine's composure never faltered. She accepted the ruling with grace, but the satisfaction in her eyes was undeniable. For Janelle, the ruling was a devastating blow. The judge dismissed several of her claims and awarded far less than what she had requested. She sat frozen for a moment, her mind racing to process what had just happened. All the preparation, all the emotional labor, all the vulnerability she had put into this fight, and yet it felt as though her story had been pushed to the sidelines. Her eyes filled with tears as she tried to hold them back, but the emotion was too heavy. She felt betrayed not just by the outcome but by the very system she had trusted to hear her out fairly. Kody, though reeling from his crushing defeat to Christine, seemed almost relieved by the lighter ruling in Janelle's case. It was as if he saw an opportunity to salvage at least one part of his crumbling public image. But any relief he felt was overshadowed by the very public nature of his loss to Christine. Courtroom had witnessed his contradictions, his defensive outbursts, and his inability to account for certain choices, and now that testimony was part of the public record. Outside the courthouse, the emotional contrast between Christine and Janelle was painfully evident. Christine spoke briefly to the press, thanking her legal team and expressing her gratitude for finally being able to close this chapter of her life. Her tone was measured and respectful, even when asked pointed questions about Kody's behavior. She did not gloat. Instead, she focused on her hope for a better future. Janelle, however, could not bring herself to speak to reporters. She walked quickly to her car, her face turned away, unable to mask her disappointment. The public reaction was immediate and intense. Social media erupted with messages of support for Christine, praising her courage, resilience, and ability to stand her ground against years of imbalance. At the same time, there was an outpouring of sympathy for Janelle, with fans expressing outrage over what they saw as a deeply unfair outcome. Many speculated that her case might have been overshadowed by the sheer force of Christine's legal strategy, while others wondered if biases within the court had played a role. For Christine, this victory was not just a personal win, it was a statement to anyone who had ever been underestimated or dismissed in a relationship. She had walked away from a dynamic that no longer served her, fought for her rights, and emerged stronger. For Janelle, the pain of this loss would not fade quickly. She had hoped for justice and validation, and instead walked away with a sense of invisibility that cut deeper than the financial shortfall. Kody now faces the reality of two former wives who no longer fear his influence. Christine's legal triumph has set a precedent, both in the court of law and the court of public opinion. Janelle's next steps remain uncertain, but those close to her believe she may appeal the decision, unwilling to accept that this is the final word on her case. The Brown family, once held together by a shared belief in unity, is now fractured beyond repair, and the courtroom battle has only deepened those divides. In the end, Christine proved that standing firm, telling the truth, and demanding fairness can yield powerful results. Janelle's heartbreak serves as a sobering reminder that the pursuit of justice is not always straightforward, and that sometimes the system fails even those who deserve to be heard. The echoes of this trial will be felt for years to come, not just within the Brown family, but among viewers who have followed their journey from the beginning. Janelle Brown has made a candid announcement about a difficult setback she's facing in North Carolina, shedding light on the real reason she returned to Flagstaff despite the looming $340,000 Coyote Pass debt. The Sister Wives star, known for her calm and level-headed approach, opened up about her struggles in a way that has left fans concerned for her financial and personal future. According to Janelle, her plans to establish a more stable life in North Carolina hit a major obstacle due to unresolved property issues and financial obligations tied to the Coyote Pass land in Flagstaff, Arizona. She revealed that the debt associated with the land, which she co-owns with Kody Brown and other family members, has continued to grow instead of being resolved. This has forced her to make difficult decisions about where to live and how to manage her finances. Janelle explained that she initially moved to North Carolina to be closer to some of her children and to explore new opportunities away from the tensions in Flagstaff. However, the reality of the debt situation pulled her back into the very environment she had hoped to leave behind. She admitted that she underestimated how much the ongoing property battle would affect her day-to-day life. Coyote Pass property, purchased several years ago with the intention of building individual homes for Kody and his wives, has long been a source of stress for the family. Despite their initial optimism, disputes over finances, construction plans, and relationship breakdowns among the wives stalled progress. Now, with the land still undeveloped, the $340,000 debt tied to it remains a heavy burden. Janelle noted that in North Carolina, she was starting to find her rhythm, making connections and exploring potential business ventures. But as the pressure to address the Flagstaff debt grew, she found herself having to redirect her attention back to Arizona. She shared that this move was not about wanting to rekindle her life in Flagstaff but about fulfilling her responsibilities and protecting her financial stability. The announcement has sparked a wave of discussion among Sister Wives fans, many of whom believe that Janelle has been unfairly pulled into financial messes that were not entirely her fault. Supporters have pointed out that Janelle has consistently been one of the most financially responsible members of the Brown family, often working multiple jobs to contribute to the family income. Janelle's return to Flagstaff comes at a time when her relationship with Kody remains strained. She has made it clear in past interviews that she values her independence and is not interested in rebuilding a romantic partnership with him. However, their shared investments, particularly in Coyote Pass, keep them tied together in ways that continue to complicate her life. She also acknowledged that returning to Flagstaff is emotionally draining. The town holds many memories of the family's struggles, disagreements, and the eventual breakdown of relationships among the wives. Janelle admitted that being back has stirred up feelings she was trying to leave behind, but she is determined to focus on resolving the financial situation as quickly as possible. Her major setback in North Carolina was also tied to logistical challenges. Janelle had been in the process of setting up a more permanent home there, with plans to expand her wellness and health coaching business. But with the need to travel back and forth to Arizona and the uncertainty of her finances, she has had to put those plans on hold. This pause has left her feeling like she's lost momentum in building the independent life she envisioned. In her update, Janelle stressed that this situation is not the end of her goals but simply a detour. She remains committed to eventually returning to North Carolina once the debt issue is resolved and she has more control over her financial obligations. She sees this as a temporary setback rather than a permanent defeat. Janelle also revealed that the Coyote Pass debt has created tension not only between her and Kody but also among the other Brown family members. With Christine and Mary having already distanced themselves from the property plans, Janelle feels the weight of the situation falling more heavily on her and Kody. This imbalance has made it harder to find a fair resolution. Fans have expressed sympathy for Janelle, praising her resilience and honesty. Many have encouraged her to cut ties with Coyote Pass entirely, even if it means taking a financial loss, so she can move forward with her life. However, Janelle pointed out that walking away is not as simple as it sounds. The legal and financial entanglements are complex, and leaving the investment could cause even greater losses in the long run. She admitted that one of the most frustrating parts of the situation is the lack of progress over the years. What was once a dream of building a shared community for the family has now turned into a financial burden that prevents her from pursuing new opportunities. Janelle said that if she had known how things would turn out, she might have made different choices early on. Despite the challenges, Janelle emphasized that she is not giving up. She has a plan to tackle the debt, though it will take time and careful financial management. She is also working on ways to keep her business alive even while splitting her time between states. She believes that with patience and determination, she can overcome this setback and eventually create the life she wants. Her story serves as a reminder that financial obligations can tie people to situations they no longer want to be in. For Janelle, the Coyote Pass debt represents both a practical challenge and an emotional one. But as she has shown throughout her time on Sister Wives, she is willing to face difficulties head-on rather than avoid them. Janelle's update ended with a message of hope. She thanked her supporters for their encouragement and assured them that this is just one chapter in her journey. While her path may have taken an unexpected turn back to Flagstaff, she believes that her long-term goals remain within reach. Her ability to stay focused on her future, even in the face of setbacks, continues to inspire fans who admire her strength and determination. Janelle has just shared a major update about the home she's building, and fans everywhere are thrilled to see her dream life becoming a reality. For years, Janelle's life was defined by compromises. As one of Kody Brown's wives in a plural marriage, she often had to put her personal goals on hold to accommodate the larger family's needs. The early seasons of Sister Wives showed her as the practical, financially minded member of the family, the one who focused on budgeting, stability, and long-term planning. But what many didn't realize was that Janelle also carried her own vision of what she wanted for her future, especially when it came to having her own place to truly call home. That dream started to take shape when the family purchased Coyote Pass in Flagstaff, Arizona. The land was meant to be divided so each wife could have her own home, but delays, disagreements, and the breakdown of the family structure meant the project never really moved forward. For a long time, Janelle seemed stuck in limbo, waiting for decisions to be made while her personal happiness was put on pause. However, everything began to change after her separation from Kody. Free from the constraints of a marriage that no longer brought her joy, Janelle started making moves toward independence. She downsized her living situation, focused on her own finances, and began mapping out what she wanted her life to look like. And that vision absolutely included a house that reflected her style, comfort, and priorities, not someone else's. In her latest update, Janelle revealed that the building process for her dream home is officially underway. After months of planning, paperwork, and coordinating with contractors, the project is now moving forward in earnest. This isn't just any house, it's the symbol of her new chapter, a space where she can truly feel free, secure, and proud of what she's accomplished. Janelle shared that the design reflects her love of open, functional spaces with plenty of natural light. She has carefully chosen every detail, from the floor plan to the kitchen layout, to make sure it fits her lifestyle. One of the things she's most excited about is having a large, welcoming kitchen where she can cook, entertain, and spend time with her children and grandkids. For Janelle, family time has always been important, but now it will be on her terms. In her space, she also spoke about incorporating energy-efficient features and sustainable materials. Over the years, she has become more conscious of environmental impacts, and this home is an opportunity to align her living situation with those values. Solar panels, energy-saving appliances, and smart home features will not only help the planet but also reduce her utility costs in the long run. Fans have noticed how much happier and more confident Janelle seems these days. Since leaving Kody, she's been glowing in every update, and this home project is clearly part of the reason. She's in control of her life and making choices that are solely for her benefit. There's no longer a need to negotiate every detail with multiple partners. This time, she calls all the shots. Her followers have flooded her social media with messages of congratulations and encouragement. Many have pointed out how inspiring it is to see a woman in her 50s completely rebuild her life from the ground up, literally. Janelle has shown that it's never too late to start over, set new goals, and achieve them. The journey hasn't been easy. She has faced financial obstacles, uncertainty, and the emotional weight of ending a decades-long marriage. But she's been open about the fact that each challenge has taught her resilience and strengthened her determination. Now, as the foundation for her new home is laid, it's clear that Janelle has also been building an unshakable foundation for her new life. What makes this moment even more special is the support she's receiving from her children. They've been cheering her on, helping with planning, and sharing her excitement for the finished home. It's a reminder that even though the Brown family as viewers knew it has changed forever, the bonds between Janelle and her kids remain strong. In interviews, Janelle has hinted at future plans for her property, possibly including a garden, outdoor entertaining spaces, and maybe even a workshop or creative studio. She wants her home to be more than just a place to live. She wants it to be a space where she can grow, host, and enjoy the next phase of her life to the fullest. Fans have also speculated about whether Janelle will stay connected to the Coyote Pass land in any way or if she's officially moving on from that chapter. From her comments, it sounds like she's ready to put the delays and frustrations of that project behind her. The house she's building now represents independence from the drama and control that once defined her life in Flagstaff. There's a sense of poetic justice in seeing Janelle achieve this goal. For years, she was the quiet, steady force in the Brown family, often overlooked, rarely at the center of drama, but always dependable. Now, she's finally the center of her own story, and she's writing it exactly the way she wants. As the building progresses, fans are eager for more updates. Janelle has promised to share photos and milestones along the way, from framing to interior finishes. It's not just about watching a house go up, it's about watching a woman step fully into the life she's been envisioning for herself. Her determination, patience, and willingness to take bold steps are paying off in a big way. And while reality TV often thrives on conflict and scandal, Janelle's storyline is a refreshing reminder that sometimes the most powerful transformation is the quiet, steady work of creating a life you love. So here's to Janelle Brown, a woman who's proven that you can weather the storms, start over from scratch, and still come out stronger, happier, and more fulfilled than ever. Her dream life is coming together piece by piece, and it's a joy to see her finally reaping the rewards of her hard work and courage. Janelle Brown from Sister Wives has once again proven that she is not afraid of change, growth, and pursuing the next chapter of her life with confidence and excitement. Known for her resilience and independence, Janelle has officially shared an exciting career update that has fans talking, especially after she recently stunned viewers with her incredible new look and revealed she has left North Carolina for a brand new adventure. Over the past few years, Janelle's journey has been one of transformation in more ways than one. She has navigated personal challenges, major family changes, and professional reinventions. Now, she's stepping into another new role that perfectly reflects her determination to keep evolving. This announcement comes shortly after Janelle's jaw-dropping reveal of her latest style makeover, which left fans praising her confidence and radiant appearance. The timing of both developments signals that she's ready to embrace this fresh chapter with enthusiasm. Janelle has built a strong connection with her audience not just as a reality TV personality, but as someone who shares her authentic life experiences. In her latest career move, she is branching out beyond the Sister Wives world and focusing on a path that blends her passions for wellness, business, and empowerment. While she has not completely stepped away from the public eye, this new opportunity is more about building something sustainable and meaningful for her future than about staying in the spotlight for fame alone. The decision to leave North Carolina was a major step for Janelle, who had spent time there working on personal projects and enjoying a change of scenery. However, she revealed that her heart was pulling her toward a new environment where she could not only grow her business ventures but also connect with communities in a more hands-on way. This move is part of her long-term plan to establish herself as both a mentor and an entrepreneur, focusing on helping others achieve personal and financial independence. Fans have noted that Janelle's latest photos exude a newfound confidence. Her health and fitness transformation has been visible for some time, but in recent weeks she's taken it to another level. She credits her dedication to consistent habits, balanced nutrition, and an overall positive mindset as the driving forces behind her refreshed energy. In fact, her new look is more than just a style update. It's a reflection of the inner work she's been doing to create the life she truly wants. In her announcement, Janelle explained that her career update involves expanding her existing wellness coaching into a broader lifestyle brand. This will include online programs, live workshops, and even collaborations with other professionals in the health and business industries. She emphasized that her goal is not only to inspire people but also to give them the practical tools they need to transform their own lives. This vision builds on the foundation she has already laid through her work in health and nutrition, but with a much more ambitious scope. Leaving North Carolina also means that Janelle is positioning herself geographically to take advantage of new opportunities. She's hinted at spending more time traveling for work, attending events, and meeting with potential partners. While she didn't reveal her exact new base, she made it clear that the location will be strategic for her growing ventures. This level of planning shows that Janelle is approaching her career with the same determination she's shown in her personal life. One of the things fans admire most about Janelle is her ability to turn challenges into stepping stones. Her journey has included navigating a high-profile plural marriage, making the decision to live independently, and balancing motherhood with career ambitions. Now she's proving once again that reinvention is possible at any stage of life. Her story is resonating particularly with women who are seeking to redefine themselves after big life changes. The reaction from fans to Janelle's update has been overwhelmingly positive. Social media has been flooded with supportive comments praising her courage, drive, and fresh outlook. Many have said that she is setting an example for how to prioritize self-worth and personal fulfillment without fear of judgment. Others have pointed out that her career shift shows that she's not relying solely on reality TV for her future but is instead building something that aligns with her values and skills. Janelle has also been transparent about the fact that this new chapter is the result of years of preparation. She has invested in learning new skills, building a professional network, and experimenting with different approaches to wellness coaching. This persistence is paying off now as she steps into a leadership role within her own brand. It's not just a side project, it's a full-fledged business plan that she is deeply committed to. Interestingly, Janelle's new look and career announcement seem to go hand in hand. She's presenting herself with a renewed sense of self-assurance, which is likely to make a strong impression on potential clients and collaborators. Transformation is both personal and professional, signaling that she's entering this stage with a clear vision and a strong sense of purpose. Janelle has promised that more details about her upcoming projects will be revealed soon. She's teased some exciting launches and collaborations that could take her work to a much wider audience. Given her track record of connecting authentically with people, there's little doubt that she will find success in this venture. She's also made it clear that while she appreciates her reality TV journey, this next phase is about building something lasting that she can continue to grow long after the cameras stop rolling. For fans who have followed Janelle since the early seasons of Sister Wives, this moment feels like a full-circle achievement. She has always been known for her practicality, independence, and willingness to speak her mind. Now she's channeling those same qualities into a career path that not only benefits her but also has the potential to inspire and empower thousands of others. Her move away from North Carolina symbolizes more than just a change in scenery. It represents a bold leap toward a future she's designing on her own terms. It's a statement that she's ready to keep evolving, keep taking risks, and keep building a life that makes her proud. And with her incredible new look and thriving energy, it's clear she's stepping into this adventure with nothing holding her back. Kody Brown, the longtime star of TLC's hit reality series Sister Wives, has finally opened up about a secret that has left fans stunned and deeply divided. For over a decade, viewers have followed Kody's plural marriage with his 4 wives, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin, watching the highs, lows, and eventual unraveling of their relationships. But in a recent interview, Kody made a confession about one of his past marriages that he himself described as a betrayal to his ex-wife. According to Kody, the truth has weighed heavily on him for years, and the breakdown of his plural family forced him to re-examine past actions he had avoided confronting. Without revealing every intimate detail, Kody admitted that during the time he was still legally married to one wife, he emotionally invested himself far more into another relationship, despite his vows to maintain fairness and equal emotional connection with all his partners. This, he says, created an imbalance that deeply hurt his ex-wife and eroded trust in the marriage long before they separated. Fans who have followed Sister Wives since its debut in 2010 know that the family dynamic has always been complex. In plural marriage, trust and balance are essential for survival, but the Brown family has faced frequent accusations, even from within, that Kody plays favorites, particularly with Robin, his 4th wife. Over the years, this perception has sparked resentment, tension, and ultimately the collapse of 3 of his 4 marriages. In his confession, Kody described the betrayal not as a single explosive event, but as a long-term failure to keep his commitments to fairness and emotional presence. He admitted that he began prioritizing the company, opinions, and needs of another wife over the one he was married to at the time, shutting down conversations and avoiding time together when conflict arose. This, he says, made his ex-wife feel abandoned and invisible in her own marriage. "I thought I was just trying to keep peace in the family," Kody admitted. "But the truth is, I was avoiding the harder relationship because I had an easier one elsewhere. That's not what I promised when we married, and it's not what I believe a husband should do. It was a betrayal of the commitment I made to her." The ex-wife in question, while not directly responding to Kody's statement, has previously spoken about feeling sidelined in the relationship. She described years of trying to address problems, only to be met with defensiveness or avoidance. Eventually, she reached a point where she no longer felt her marriage was salvageable. That departure became a turning point in the Brown family, accelerating the unraveling of their plural household. Kody's willingness to publicly admit fault has caught many longtime viewers off guard. Over the years, he has often been criticized for deflecting blame or framing himself as a victim of circumstances beyond his control. In this confession, however, he took direct responsibility for actions that contributed to the end of his marriage. He acknowledged that he did not treat all his wives equally despite making public claims of doing so, and that his own choices made reconciliation impossible. Social media reactions have been intense. Some fans have praised Kody for finally owning up to his mistakes, saying that honesty, even if late, is better than denial. Others argue that his confession changes nothing for the wives who already left, calling it a too little too late admission that does not erase years of emotional neglect. Still others see the timing of his revelation as self-serving, pointing out that the family's private lives have become part of the sister-wives storyline and questioning whether this admission is meant to boost public sympathy or ratings. Kody addressed those concerns in his statement, insisting that his motivation for speaking out now is personal growth rather than publicity. He says that losing 3 marriages in quick succession has forced him to confront patterns of behavior that he previously excused or ignored. He also acknowledged that, while his confession might be painful for his ex-wife to hear publicly, he hopes it can offer her validation for feelings she expressed for years. Confession also reignites discussion about the challenges of plural marriage and the expectations placed on a husband with multiple wives. In theory, equal emotional and physical attention should be given to each spouse, but many critics of polygamy argue that such balance is nearly impossible to maintain over decades. Even small favoritism can grow into large resentments when multiplied by years of perceived neglect. Kody himself reflected on this reality, admitting that while he believed he could manage the emotional demands of plural marriage, he underestimated the complexity of sustaining 4 equally deep and satisfying relationships. He said that his mistake was not in recognizing that he had a favorite, but in allowing that preference to dictate his time, attention, and decision-making to the detriment of another wife. In Sister Wives, viewers have often seen moments where Kody's absence from one household led to tension. The wife he now admits betraying had openly voiced frustration over feeling like her opinions were dismissed in family decisions, and she often lived with long stretches of minimal contact from Kody. When these issues were raised on camera, Kody sometimes attributed them to the wife's negativity or personality differences, but in hindsight, he says he sees that those justifications were ways to avoid confronting his own role in the problem. The fallout from Kody's confession may also have ripple effects for the remaining relationships in his life. For the wife he is still married to, this admission publicly acknowledges that favoritism existed, something she has denied in the past. For his children, it may confirm long-held beliefs that the family's issues were not solely about clashing personalities but also about unequal treatment from their father. As the Brown family continues to navigate life after the collapse of their plural household, Kody's confession stands as one of the most candid statements he has made about his own shortcomings. While it may not heal old wounds, it represents a rare moment of self-criticism from a man who has often been seen as defensive and resistant to blame. Whether this leads to any reconciliation or deeper understanding between him and his ex-wife remains uncertain, but it has already reshaped how many fans view his role in the family's history. In closing, Kody expressed hope that by admitting his betrayal, he might at least demonstrate to others the importance of accountability in relationships. "We all make mistakes," he said. "But if you don't own them, they own you. I didn't treat her the way I promised I would, and that's on me. If I could go back, I would make different choices." For Sister Wives viewers, this may be one of the most pivotal revelations in the show's long history, not because it changes the outcome, but because it finally puts into words what many suspected all along, that the end of the Brown family's plural marriage was not simply inevitable, but also fueled by the private betrayals no one fully admitted until now.